Hey guys, go back to my channel. This video was originally thought about at the end of 2023 when everybody was doing their best of 2023 books. And I saw a handful of my favorite booktubers list out some books that sound very interesting and that I really was wanting to read. So for this video, we are going to take some of the favorite books of some of my favorite booktubers and read those books and see what I think about them. So we are going to choose a book for Heather McLary, Sarah Caroli, Larry or Larissa, and then we also have Destiny Sidwell. So we have four of my favorite booktubers. I've looked at some of their videos and either found their like 6-star reads or some of their favorite reads from last year, and I'm going to be reading them. So I have the books here, and actually I have 5 books here because I don't know. Well, we'll get to it. So for Larry's choice, she just recently did an entire video on Mariana Zapata, and I have never read any of her books. And I know Heather also really likes Mariana Zapata, and I'm not sure about the other ones, but Larry specifically said she had the number one spot of her Mariana Zapata books. There were 2 of them, and one of them is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. So I found this. All of Mariana Zapata books, as far as I know, are on Kindle Unlimited. So we are going to be reading this for Larry's choice. And then for Sarah Caroli, I'm going to choose One Dark Window. I don't remember what she rated this. I don't know if she considered this like a 5-star or just a really good read, but I know she did really like this book, and I decided I wanted to read this. But we'll be reading this book for Sarah's choice. For Heather McLary, I chose Ninth House. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. This is a book that she has said that she has read multiple times. It's like her comfort read. This, of all the books, is the one that I'm most nervous about because this book, you either love it or hate it, has been kind of the general consensus from what I have seen. So I don't know how this is going to go. We'll see. This is, like I said, this is the one that I'm most nervous about, but we will be finally diving into it. I do also have Hellbent because I bought the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition for Ninth House and went ahead and got Hellbent. So hopefully I will like this enough that I will want to read Hellbent, and it's just not going to be a book that's sitting on my shelf that I'm never going to read. So we will see. This is the one that I'm most nervous about of all of these books. And then the last booktuber that I watch religiously is Destiny Sidwell. And I originally was going to pick Love Theoretically because I had this on my shelf already. I had already bought this a while ago. And so I was like, I'm going to read this. I already have it. I know a lot of people like Love Theoretically, but the book that I'm actually going to read that is Destiny's favorite book, or one of Destiny's favorite book, is Say You Swear. So this is the book that we're going to be reading for Destiny's book. These are the 4 books that I'm going to be reading in this video. And we're going to see if I love these books just as much as my favorite booktubers loved them. So I think I'm not going to read Ninth House first because I don't want to start off the video with a book that I'm not going to enjoy and potentially cause me not to want to read the other books. So, and again, I'm the most scared of that book. So I think we're going to make this kind of in the middle. So we're going to maybe do this book number 2 or 3. And I just got done reading A Court of Silver Flames. So that's fantasy. So I think I want to hold off on this one. So we're in between Say You Swear or The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. And I really think I'm leaning toward this one. Like, this one just seems right up my alley. And this is just, I'm feeling drawn to this. But I think we're going to try this one. This is to be the first one. We're going to see if this book is as good as Destiny says it is. So let's go ahead and dive into Say You Swear. All right, you just saw some clips of me reading Say You Swear. I am chapter 39 now. There was a clip that I meant to take, and apparently I did not hit record because chapter 38 destroyed me. I can't, my heart hurts so bad. And I'm terrified what the remainder of this book is going to be. Like, I'm so scared. So scared. So I'm sitting in my kid's appointment. I just put her into the appointment and I'm sitting in the car because I'm terrified to read this in public because I have a feeling I'm going to be hurt. I love Noah so much. I'm so sad for him. Oh, like, I haven't even started reading and I feel like I'm gonna cry. I'm so sad. Okay, let's pick up on chapter 38 and feel so bad for Noah. I feel so bad. All right, it is the next day and I need to talk about my book. So I did finish last night's Say You Swear, which is Destiny Sidwell's book choice, and I absolutely loved this. This is 5 stars. I wasn't sure how I was going to rate this. I knew I really liked it, but I felt at the very beginning, like toward like the halfway point, the first half of the book is kind of not slow, but it's basically you're just following Ari and Noah, and it's kind of just the development of their relationship and the things that Ari is having to deal with, and like her getting over what happened during the summer before they got to college. And it's her kind of meeting Noah and then them kind of building a relationship and her coming into herself and all of that. And then about 75% of the way through, it takes a turn. And this is where the 5 star comes from. So I know a book is a 5 star if I am anxious and or in tears going about my normal life, because in the back of my head, I'm thinking about what has happened in the book and I am having an emotional reaction without even reading. So I was going about Walmart, just looking for some stuff for dinner. And in my mind, all I was thinking about, I could not even tell you anybody I passed, anything that was in the store other than like what the items I was going for. Like, I was oblivious to the people around me and my surroundings because in my head, I was thinking about this. And so if I'm in my head constantly thinking, and even now, this is a day later, I'm still thinking about Noah and Ari, the stuff that they went through in this book. If I'm still thinking about it, I know it's a good book. So definitely very good. I absolutely love Noah. He is the epitome of a book boyfriend. He is chef's kiss, perfect. And I love this book. I cried so many times. I actually had to change my shirt because I had like tears all on my shirt just because they were flowing so strong down my shirt, my face, that they were like pulling right here, and I ended up having to change my shirt because it was looking a little rough. So 5 stars. It is very good. I'm very happy I read this, and I can say I probably am going to go back and reread this and possibly like underline and annotate it because there were just so many sweet sayings and so many sweet things that Noah did and Ari did that I need to remember. I want to go back and flip through and remember some of the things that were said in this book. So definitely very good. Very glad I read it. 5 star. And then the next book I am going to go ahead and read is Ninth House. So I was going back and forth between Ninth House or The Wall of Winnipeg. That's kind of the two that I was thinking about. But given that I just got done with a romance, I wanted to not go right into another romance with Mariana Zapata. So instead, I'm going to attempt Ninth House. I started it this morning. I'm only on like page 34. I really haven't gotten that far. I will say I did have to already Google a few words in this. And I have on my Notion right now those words and the definitions, just so that way I can kind of keep up with what's actually happening. But so far, I've been introduced to Alex, which is the FMC, and Darlington, Darlington? I think this is, yeah, Darlington, which is actually Daniel Arlington, but he goes by Darlington. So I've slowly been introduced to Darlington a little bit. So I'm literally only on chapter 2. I just started, like I said, this morning. I just rolled over into chapter 2, and then I had to take a break so I could go and get dressed. So this is the book that we're going to be reading. I'm hoping I'll be able to get this done by tomorrow. And unless it drags on. That's the only concern that I have, is that this is going to drag on a little bit and it's going to be harder for me to read. I'll do another check-in and give you an idea of how this is coming. All right, we're going to do a check-in. I am still currently reading Ninth House. It is Thursday, so I've only been reading this for a little over a day, and I am on page 236, and so it's about 53% or so done. I am liking this, but I did have some, not struggles, but it was a little bit more difficult to read because there were like things were spoken in Latin, and then there were words that are just not familiar to me, and so it was going a little slow. However, I did see that on Hoopla I can get the audiobook, so I have been reading and listening at the same time, and it is going much better. So if you are unfamiliar with this book is, like I was, this is kind of a dark academia book, which I've never really read before, and it's about Alex, who kind of was a dropout, a high school dropout. She doesn't have a GED. She was a drug user. She was, getting into a bunch of trouble back in LA, and the dean of Yale basically made her an offer that she comes to Yale and she is going to get a free ride. She's going to get full tuition, room, board, everything. But she needs to be what they're calling a Dante, and which basically means that she is in charge of keeping in line all of the ghosts that are at Yale. It is interesting. I will say that if you are interested in reading Ninth House, I really think listening to the audiobook, at least the first go-round. So if I like this book, then I might end up trying to reread it later without the audiobook. But I do think that starting out, audiobook is definitely the way to go if you want to read Ninth House. And then we'll have to see when I get to Hellbent if I decide to do the same thing where I listen to the audiobook instead of just reading it right out. So overall, it is a good book. It is definitely something that I am not familiar with. I have never read anything like this before, so it is very interesting. So I will hopefully be able to finish this tonight, especially because I'm listening to it on audio and I have upped my speed. Right now it's at 1.5 speed. Anything more than 1.5, I really don't know how people can listen to audiobooks at like 2 or higher. To me, that's just, it's too much. It's way too fast for me. So I do have it at 1.5. That is where we are for our reading, and hopefully the next check-in will be me giving you my review on this book and then picking up my next book. So let's go ahead and do some more reading. All right, time for another check-in, and I did finish Ninth House. I read this in a little over like 2 days, about actually, and I gave it 3.75. It was good. There was something that I didn't get the point of, such as, I'm trying to find an example. At the end of some of the chapters, there would be like a full page of excerpts from the life of Lethe procedures and protocols of the ninth house, and then it would also have like a little paragraph at the bottom would be another excerpt of usually like a diary of a past like Lethe member, whether that was a Dante or someone within the Lethe society. And I really didn't see the point of it. It just seemed like information that didn't really help the story, or at least didn't really grasp for me. But it was interesting. I will say I am going to continue, and I will pick up Hellbent just to progress and see what happens at the end of the story, just kind of see how the story progresses, because this doesn't really I guess it ends on a cliffhanger, sort of, but there is a storyline that is kind of not complete yet at the end of this book. And so the second book, I'm assuming, is going to pick up on that storyline. So I do plan on picking up Hellbent, and I may end up trying to reread this and see if there's stuff that I missed the first time. Now that I kind of know the story and I understand what I'm getting into, I am curious if there's some things that if I read it again, I'll actually enjoy further. So this definitely will be a reread at some point. Excuse you. And so this will be something I will be picking up again in the future. But it was a decent book, and it was definitely much better once I got the audio version. And then the book that I'm picking up next is the book that is Larry's book choice, and that is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. And I did pick this up last night, and I have been reading it a little bit this morning, and I am already at 42% done with this book. This book is like 480 pages, I believe, so it is on the longer end of some romances. This also is a slow burn. Apparently a lot of Mariana, if not all, of Mariana Zapata books are slow burn, but some of the tropes that are in this book, you have slow burn, you also have grumpy sunshine, you also have marriage of convenience, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I am really liking Aiden. He is the football player. He is the grumpy in the situation. And then you have Vanessa, and she was at the beginning of the book, she is the assistant to Aiden, who is also the Wall of Winnipeg. He is a big football player, and she is his assistant, and she ends up quitting because she just can't take it anymore. And the marriage of convenience kind of pops up, and so now they're kind of evolving from assistant to boss, or assistant boss relationship, to fake wife, fake husband relationship. And it's very good. So I'm very excited to see kind of how this is going to wrap up. I do know I'm going to finish it today. It's a romance. I'm going to get done with it today. And then the only other book that I'll have to read is going to be One Dark Window. So super excited to see how The Wall of Winnipeg and Me wraps up, and if this is going to be an author that I'm going to want to pick up again in the future, because I know there are quite a few books of hers that are, you know, everybody's favorite books. So if this is something that I do enjoy, that I might be picking up some more Mariana Zapata books in the future. So we're going to continue reading and seeing what this book is all about and how it wraps up. All right, I am back, and I finished The Wall of Winnipeg by Mariana Zapata, and 4.5. So this definitely was a slow burn romance. They didn't actually like admit their feelings until it must have been like the 90% mark of this book. And this book is 479 pages, I think. So pretty much the end of the book, that's when, you know, feelings were actually like vocalized. I did thoroughly enjoy it. I ended up staying up until about 1:30 this morning finishing this book because I just did not want to stop reading it. And that is in my mind, that is what makes a book enjoyable to me, is if I just don't want to put it down and I am thinking about it and I'm just really enjoying just reading the book. So it was definitely very good. So with that, we have one more book to go, and that is Sarah Caroli's choice, which is One Dark Window. So this is a duology. I do have Two Twisted Crowns, just on the off chance that this book does make me want to read the second part of the story. This is a fantasy. I don't know if it's a romance or not. I don't know if it's like a romantasy book. It doesn't really say. I don't know. We will have to see. I'm very excited to read this. This is a book that I actually had reserved on my library's hold for a while, but everybody was reading it. And so it took me forever to actually get bumped up on the list, and I just decided to go out and buy it. So we are going to be starting this, and hopefully we will see how good this book is and why Sarah liked it so much. We're going to dive into this now and see what One Dark Window is all about. All right, I'm back and I finished One Dark Window. So this was the book that I chose for Sarah Caroli. I did finish it. I ended up rating this 4 stars. I did go back and look at Sarah's video of when she read this book, and she ended up giving it 4.25. For some reason, I thought she rated it higher than that. I thought it was like a 4.5, between a 4.5 and a 5 star. But you know, whatever. So I ended up rating this 4 stars. So I enjoyed the magic systems. So the magic in this is not like typical magic that you read about in any other like fantasy books. So that was very interesting to learn about. I did really enjoy getting Elspeth, I think that's how you say her name, Elspeth and Raven, like their interactions. I did also really like Elm, which is like a side character, and then you have Jesper, who's another side character. There's a bunch of side characters that I really did enjoy. The reason why I gave it 4 stars and not anything higher was it took me a little bit trying to get into this book. I would say about the first 100 pages, I was forcing myself to read. It was interesting. I didn't dislike it, but it just didn't, it just didn't have that like factor where like I wanted to dive into the story and really like get into it. It just didn't have that like grasp on me. So it was good, but I just didn't have that feeling. Much different than the way I felt with this book. So this book couldn't put down. This book took me like 4 days or so to finish, just because I couldn't, I just wasn't, I wanted to read it, but I wasn't wanting to read it. But 4 stars, it was good. I am looking forward to reading the second book, or the last book, because it's a duology, just so I can find out how this ends, because it will be interesting. So 4 stars. So that's going to be it for me reading the favorite books of my favorite booktubers. So within this video, let's recap what we had read. So first book we read, Say You Swear, which was Destiny Sidwell, 5 star. Love this book. Definitely think that you should pick it up. I definitely think you should read it. And then we have Ninth House, which was for Heather McLary, 3.75. This was definitely a book that I think I would have struggled finishing or read it much longer if I did not have the audiobook. And then we have the next, I don't have my Kindle with me, but I did read Mariana Zapata, which was The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, which was a book for Larry. And that book I ended up giving 4.5. Very good romance. Grumpy Sunshine, Marriage to Convenience. It was just such a good book. It was slow burn, and it was very good. Really enjoy it. I will be picking up more Mariana Zapata books in the future. And then last book that we read was One Dark Window, which was Sarah Caroli's book choice, or the book that I chose for Sarah Caroli, and ended up giving this 4 stars. And we just talked about that 3 minutes ago. So that was all of the books. I think I really had a good reading experience, and I definitely can see me wanting to pick up the second book of this one and the second book of this one. So, and then I'll be picking up more Mariana Zapata books. So overall, really enjoying how this video turned out and all of the good books that I might not have picked up had it not been for my favorite booktubers. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. This is so good.